What I am about to talk about is not something that hasn't been done before. On the contrary, this is a very popular topic. It has been started ever since several years ago, and it continues to this day. However, I do believe that we need to keep talking about this. We need to point out everything that I'm going to point out and more, and we need to keep the conversation going until something actually is done. Greetings, ladies and gents, my name is Hjelzo, the bearded Balkan blabbermouth, and I am discussing. And today, my topic that I chose to do for this video is how the AAA, quadruple A, whatever you want to call it, gaming industry has utterly failed us. It has failed us on many levels, and it has failed us on the most fundamental level, and that is quality for what we are paying. And just to kick this off right, a AAA game is essentially a high budget, high profile game that is typically produced and distributed by large, well-known publishers, which kind of corresponds to having amazing graphics, amazing gameplay, rich story, a lot of playtime, and a full immersiveness that would present us, in theory, with the best experience to provide us with the escapism and the entertainment that we need, right?
Wrong.
But it's not that, or at least it's not that common to have a game like that these days. We have a lot of examples that absolutely contradict that notion that paying a high amount of money for the development of such a game is equaling a high quality entertainment. If anything, you could say that cheaper and less developed in certain ways games are making a fucking good push towards winning more and more fans to their cause. Giving you the brightest example is Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game that reportedly cost over $500 upwards towards $700 million allegedly to make, and racking up a measly 64,000 concurrent players and selling almost or around 2 million copies up until now, which is abysmal in every sense of the word. This game has all the support of a massive studio such as Ubisoft. It had all the budget, it had everything that it could wished for in terms of resources, in terms of ways to do that, motion capture, voice acting. They could do everything. Multiple studios working on different elements of the game in order to distribute the workload, the time that Ubisoft is granted because it was a huge studio with a lot of respect at one time to make the game, with the trust of the gaming community behind it. All of that, Ubisoft had all of that, and they fumbled, failed, and delivered a sloppy, boring product that almost nobody enjoyed. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is by far not the biggest flop of Ubisoft so far. We have had major flops last year with Star Wars Outlaws, and more famously Skull and Bones. We have an article here from Insider Gaming which says 1 year later Skull and Bones is finally becoming the pirate game we all wanted, and apparently there is an update that will have season 1 year 2 update that is going to bring a lot of the things that were initially missing from the game, such as land battles, such as upgrade visually and gameplay wise, things that were supposed to be in the official release of the game. However, they weren't, and this game effectively failed, and the budget for this game allegedly upwards to $800 million. This is a massive budget. You can compare it to a lot of other games, and if you compare it to even another AAA game such as Black Myth Wukong, which has had reportedly $80 million in development budget, it means that this is 10 Black Myth Wukongs of budget allegedly without any sort of success. Essentially a monetary black hole. It's like they were just feeling cold one evening and they started throwing money into this fire pit that they decided to call Skull and Bones, and probably thought, oh, it's gonna produce something if we just throw enough paper at it. It's bound to have something good by the end of it, right? Yeah, that's how it works. But it didn't happen, and this is more and more apparent, especially with Ubisoft, with their current stock market. Bad gaming practices, abhorrent management, disrespect towards almost anything that they touch, blatant disregard to culture, to their own words, and failure to even upkeep their initial promises has led them to be with a stock market of lowest since the 2013. 9.32 euro is today's closing number, ladies and gents. This is below 10 euro, and yeah, they have been fluctuating for quite a while. However, this is abhorrent. You can just see that this is the 5-year graph, and they have had 82.40 in 2021, and they're down by 86.69%. This is what gaming company death looks like, and this is still not over for Ubisoft. But don't take my word and my research and my graphs and whatever I show you as clear word. There are a lot of other things that you can just look based on what other people are preferring as gaming instead of AAA gaming. Remember, AAA gaming is expensive. It's supposed to be the highest quality. If we're talking about the simple, most honest way of how to use money, money equals quality, because if money can be transformed by quality people, by capable people, into a quality product, then more money means more quality. More money means better product. More money means better graphics, better gameplay, better story, better written lines, better voice acting, everything that you can think of, just better, because you just keep throwing money at them. And with that said,
resentment can grow quietly without much warning after a storm. Mushrooms can too. Shiitake?
Yeah, that is from Assassin's Creed Shadows, and do I need to even say more in this case? But speaking about the decline in player base, let's go to one of the saddest situations that I have been witnessed south of midnight. This is a game that I was initially very hyped about. This is a relatively high budget game. This is created by Compulsion Games. It had a lot of faith, a lot of work into it. Allegedly, they had good voice acting, even though controversy there did not escape its grasp. And it all ultimately settled down to 1,400 players of the all-time peak. The game released 9 days ago. It already had an opening weekend, and as you can see, nothing good has been produced. This is the highest that they're probably going to go, unless they put the game to a huge discount, and probably more people will decide to just try it because it will be dirty cheap. And as we all know, because we do live in reality, players does not constitute money or pure profit. It has very huge numbers of things that it relies upon. On the contrary side, however, let us see an indie game that is developed by 1 or 2 people. I don't know, but a lot of people are saying that it's one, and it's called Schedule 1. Look at this. Look at this chart. 459,000 players. 459 concurrent players as a peak, which was achieved 11 days ago. This is amazing. The game released 24 days ago, which means that between the 24 and the 11 days they had an opening weekend, and after that opening weekend they had an even bigger peak in players, which is very rare for a game, ladies and gents. This is a unicorn of assault to see such a peak, which means that if it happened once, it might happen again. This game probably costs 1/10 of Assassin's Creed Shadows budget, or even 1/5 of South of Midnight's budget. This is a game that has been done by someone with passion, with limited resources, but with a vision. And as you can see, that vision works out. Gamers love it, gamers buy it, and even at the price of something like 15 or 20 bucks, they are paying, and this guy or these people are rolling in green, and you can be damn sure that they will continue to make games with a passion. We have another example that I would like to point out, because this is a game that released today and it's called Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree. This is a game that I played last week and I will continue to play now that it's released. It has 3,200 concurrent players, and I will refresh the page to see, okay, it actually went with 100 more. And this game, which is a 2.5D game, which you can wrap your hand around as much as you like around that concept, it has a 40 plus hour story, which is almost 5 times as more as the reported for South of Midnight, and South of Midnight couldn't even break to 2,000 players. This is what's happening. This game is an indie game as well. It has been developed with limited budget and it is a relatively small developer. And if you think that these are isolated incidents, this is neither the first, the second, nor the third time that these things have happened in just the last year alone. Indie games are destroying the AAA gaming industry, and some say, yeah, that's good, that's amazing, and I support that because I do enjoy indie games and I do enjoy games with passion. However, let us remember one very special thing. AAA games used to be games with passion, right? Remember the AAA games of old, remember the previous Assassin's Creeds, remember everything that came before them, remember the Call of Duty games, remember everything that came before, remember the Fallout games, remember all of the games that we used to pay a lot of money, which are AAA games, but they had passion, they had soul, they had people that knew what the fuck they're doing, and they have people that were in charge, that were passionate about giving us the best experience, because there is a simple formula here to be achieved, ladies and gents. You give consumers what they crave in the best way that they crave it, and they will pump your wallets full of money, and you will be a successful studio. That is the simple formula. There is nothing more simple than that. You make a good game, you get high rewards. That's it. There is no mystery. And apparently, the current AAA titles and the current triple, quadruple, quintuple, sextuple, and whatever A games you like to call them, and those studios that are behind them have seemed to forgotten about this. They seem to have collective amnesia, probably from all the vegan mushrooms that have been eating all this time. However, apparently they're all having an amnesia about those things, and they just don't know what the fuck to do. You have South of Midnight with a measly 8-10 hour gameplay. You have Assassin's Creed Shadows with so many bugs that I haven't had that many bugs in a dampy hotel in Rome. You have storylines and voice acting that is so lazy that I can do it better with angina and sleeping for 5 days straight after a hangover. What are these people doing? These are multi-billion-dollar companies that can afford to splurge just a little bit of more effort, not even money, effort, to have better games, and they're not doing big. Why? Because they have consultancy companies, they have DEI practices, they have DEI hires, they have people who don't know what the fuck to do with a computer, they have designers that probably have designed only a triangular sandwich in their lives, and they have people that just don't know where the fuck they're most of the time, because they are hired not based on merit, but because they need to check a box. And the company seems to be okay with this, because why? Because consumer is going to consume. Be happy. Consume. This is it. This is what they're expecting us to do. And now that we don't do it, they screech, you're hateful, you're racist, you're bigots, you're what? Toxic gaming culture, toxic gaming. No, we're not toxic. We are not fucking toxic. We want to get rid of the toxicity, and we want to make gaming great again. We want to make entertainment great again. This is not just about gaming. This is about movies as well. This is about music. This is about art. This is about everything that is creative, that gets us escapism, that gets us entertainment. We wanted quality back. We want the golden ages back. We want the new golden ages. We want a platinum age. We want it to get better, not worse. We don't want to spend our increasingly harder earned money on something that is subpar, and you as companies demanding that demanding us that we don't even have to own our games, and we just rent the licenses for a limited time that apparently can be taken away at any time, looking at you, Ubisoft, is apparently okay. And you think that we are going to just go and, okay, yeah, I'm gonna allow it. No, we're not. We are waking up. Even the normies are waking up. I've said that in previous videos as well. Normies are waking up. They're not buying your shit blindly. They want to know what's going the fuck around. They want to know what the fuck they're spending their money on. And when they see some shit like you're trying to pull, they're not gonna buy it. They're gonna go and buy Schedule 1. They're gonna buy Split Fiction. They're gonna buy Mandragora. They're gonna buy indie games that are made by people that actually give a fuck about gamer satisfaction. And if you want your future as AAA gaming companies to be better, to be bright, and for the light at the end of the tunnel to not be a fucking bullet train heading straight for you, full of throttle and full of dynamite, then you better start taking fucking notes and taking them fast and implementing those notes even faster, like yesterday. That's what you need to do, because we are not afraid to abandon you completely without a second thought. We have a backlog of thousands of games. We have a 40-50-year-old backlog, and we can fall back into it comfortably. Hell, I've been playing Witcher 3 on my off days, little by little. This is a game that is 10 years old, and I can tell you one thing: I'll be able to play it for 500-600 hours more, just going around and enjoying the scenery. Why? Because the game is amazing. But I'm not gonna be able to do that with something like Assassin's Creed Shadows, because the game sucks. I would rather boot up Diablo 2 than go and pay for Diablo 4 or something like that, because Diablo 2 was amazing and it had soul in it, whereas the next part suck. Hell, I would rather play Solitaire than boot up some of these newer games. Why? Because they suck. And if you don't want them to continue to suck, start asking the right questions, start listening to the right people, and for fuck's sake, get rid of all those incompetent idiots that are apparently infesting your companies right down to the core. Because if you don't, then you'll fall into obscurity and you'll be unemployed faster than you can say skibidi bop. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's a little bit of a different video, and I do wanted to take all of this out of my system because I've been increasingly frustrated with everything that's been going on, and you sometimes need to round it out. And so I thank you for watching this video if you did until now. If you enjoy this, if you enjoy my other content, click the like, the subscribe button, and consider becoming a member and checking that join button. The lowest to the highest tiers are very flexible, so you can join whatever you like. And with that, you also help homeless animals and animals in shelters. If you want to support that cause as well, go down to the Patreon link down in the description below and visit there. Also visit all my social links. I'll be happy to chat with you on my Discord, on my X, on every platform that I am on. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Hills. This was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.